Oh, hey,
Hello.
all right.
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not eating a sandwich today.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, I forgot. That was quite funny. It was your fault really because you kind of come in here eating
I
all the
know
ham
I should.
sandwiches at the time.
I know I shouldn't have done it.
Well, but yeah, no, it's funny. Hello, Matt and Wait. Welcome to the Honest Hour. So scary.
No,
Um,
I've been looking forward to it.
No, it's good. It's obviously always good to catch up with you and stuff and things and have you on. And I know there was a few messages as well from people. I know Kath was someone as well who said that she was going to try and be about because there's a lot of people that know you from here and find what you say really interesting and really informative as well on like many different angles. I think.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, really good. So yeah, so how's your week been so far anyway? Start.
Um, to be honest, I've had a bit of a lazy week. Obviously, I went to. I was in about Belgium last weekend with the snooker, and then on the way back from Belgium, I started coming down with a bit of a cold.
Ah, okay.
So that I always feel like just relaxing anyway after a tournament. But then plus on top of that, I had a cold. So yeah, I've been today. Feeling a bit. I've been feeling a bit sorry for myself today.
Ah, okay, that's not good. That's yeah. Hopefully you're looking after yourself a little bit, and hopefully you'll get over that quickly as well. So, um, I know I was just explaining really just before we kind of came on here. Obviously, we kind of talk a fair bit on here. You kind of pop in a lot, but I kind of wanted to um, kind of use one of these hours on a Friday with you properly. For a couple of reasons, really. One of them is because we can kind of record it and capture it, and that might save you repeating yourself next time when you're on.
Yeah,
But obviously, I know that you're up to a few things as well, which that might be useful too, which we can kind of speak about in a bit. So I know there's some people that will come through that are kind of used to you and know you and know of you, and there'll be also other people that haven't and kind of new as they're coming through. So to start off with, are you all right to kind of give a brief outline of like who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourself?
yeah. So as you can probably see from the bottom of the screen, my name's my name's my name's. Oh, you know my name anyway. I'm not saying it. Um, but actually, that's a good point because um, as well as being born with cerebral palsy from the age of I'd say about 5 or 6, I started getting a stutter, and that has continued throughout the rest of my life.
Mm.
But an interesting fact about anybody who stutters is that everybody struggles to say their own first name.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that, and it's something. To be honest, Matt, it was something I meant to message you beforehand because I know we've obviously spoken to you loads of times, and we're going to be recapping and overlapping on some of the things that me and yourself and on here that we've spoken about. But something, if it's okay with yourself, something that we haven't, I don't think, really spoken about in depth is like stuttering and
Yeah,
kind of the effect that it might have had on you when you was younger. I know you gained a bit of support and help for it, didn't you? Sort of from quite a big place, I would sort of say.
yeah. So yeah, so all the way through sort of school, I had speech therapy
Mm.
that was provided by school, but and that would sort of help in the short term, but then after a while, like, my stutter would like come back as it was before, and then for people who remember that Pop Idol, there was a contestant on there called Gareth Gates, and he had a stutter, and then he did a documentary about this intense speech therapy course he went on called about the Maguire program,
Yeah.
and that really helped people with stutters. So after watching this program, I decided to get involved with the Maguire program, and I went to an open day in Leeds, and then I went on an intense course in Dundee in 2012, and it was basically for about, I think it was like 3 or 4. It was like 3 or 4 days, like 15 hours a day, and it's quite complicated, so I can't really explain what it involves.
Yeah.
But something that happened is it made me a lot more sensitive about my stutter than what I'd ever been before.
Yeah.
And so, but it went really well, and we sort of had a list of things to do once we got home. I managed to achieve those things, and then after a couple of months, I started to sort of like struggle with the techniques that I'd been learning, and I ended up getting quite low, and in the end, I thought this has made me even more sensitive about my stutter than what I've ever been before.
Yeah.
And I then decided myself that I should try unlearn what I'd learned, because I thought I was better off as I was before, and just because of that, I don't need having a stutter is not a bad thing, and having a stutter, it doesn't need fixing. Like it's just part of me,
Yeah.
and so so I unlearned what I'd learned, and I became a lot happier. But also, like I say, I become a lot more confident in thinking, yeah, I've always been like comfortable with having. I've always been comfortable with having cerebral palsy, and I've been very positive around disability. And so I thought, well, having a stutter, like, I don't want to. Obviously, this intense speech therapy course, it helps a lot of people, and for most people, it works. And although you never like 100% stop stuttering, it helps a lot of people. But for me personally, I feel like I didn't have that same experience. So, and I thought, well, because quite a lot of what they were sort of teaching is that having a stutter is is a bad thing, but
Right.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah. No, I think it's like a lot of things as well, isn't it? It's more about people understanding, I think, isn't it, as well, rather than trying to fix things, perhaps. And we can all work on stuff and things like that, but I think obviously education and the understanding is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like I can understand it to a point because everybody else who was on that speech therapy course with me,
Mm.
they didn't have um like they didn't have they didn't have like a visible disability.
Yeah,
So obviously for them having a stutter was a lot more uh, it's a lot more was a lot more was a lot more debilitating for them.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
and obviously like people shared experiences of when they would like find it hard to like tell the taxi driver where to go and things like that. But
yeah,
obviously, for me, like a lot of people assume that that my stutter is part of my cerebral palsy. It isn't, and but I do think having cerebral palsy, like people are a lot more understanding of my stutter as well.
yeah. No, that's good. I know this has been a little bit of an in joke between me and you, Matt, but AI summary has popped up and it's kind of given a really nice description. A discussion on speech therapy and stuttering, sharing personal experiences. So there you go. It's got it right for a change. So
Oh, that's good.
it's a good start. Hello to Caroline as well, who's just in chat, and Squishy
Hiya, Caroline, you alright?
and Alex as well. Matt, I know is like obviously being a young person. Was it five or six? You said that you started with that.
That's when I started Wimby. That's when I started about Wimby stutter, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, is there things that you found would frustrate you? Is like when talking to people and communication and things like that. I know, like we kind of hear a lot about people being patient and you know waiting and that sort of thing. But was there kind of things that would frustrate you more when you was younger compared to like now you're older?
To be honest, like, the things that frustrated me as a as a child weren't anything to do with having a stutter.
Hmm.
And I think even from being really young, I was quite, uh, I was quite, I was, I was quite, I was quite mature in like how I would think. And one thing that used to really annoy me, again, which it's not related to my stutter, but like if I was round people's houses or had an appointment or stuff, people would often talk to whoever I was with rather than talk to me.
Yeah.
So like, I remember we were at someone's house once, and this person, she said to my mum, she said, "Does he want a drink?" So I said, "Yes, please."
Yeah.
And that that kind of shocked the person whose house I were at, and I'd have the same experience in shops and things like that. But bear in mind, we're talking the the 1990s. The 1990s. In fact, I remember quite a funny story. Went into Boots for, those plastic bottles that you have a weed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we went to Boots for one of those, and we went in, and my mum said, "Can you tell me where I can find these bottles?" And the lady took her to the female ones, and she said, "No, it's not for me." And she said, "What? Who's it for then?" And I was there.
Yeah.
But she obviously had completely she's not seen me at all. And thankfully, attitudes have got a whole lot better. And there's things like disability training now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like Caroline is talking in the chat about ableism, and yeah, I've experienced quite a lot of that, and like yeah, and especially as a child, but also as an adult, and this is why platforms such as this, it kind of helps open up that conversation, and it can both educate people and also other disabled people can sort of see people who might be similar to those as well.
Yeah, I think one of the good things that's really stuck out for me about, I think I probably saw it during COVID, to be honest, on Facebook, where they've got like the gaming channel sort of on there, where you get a lot of people that are playing games, but then they interact with people that are on the lives. And first of all, what came out of it was the amount of people that were using sort of gaming as a way to kind of manage sort of any mental health issues and things, and depression, loneliness, and all those sort of things. Anxiety was a big one. And the other side of it was quite a few people on there that had huge mobility problems. Some people were kind of completely paralyzed and things like that, where they were using, like kind of the equipment now where you can talk through, but they were using equipment to play the games and things with as well, like with mouth movements, which I just thought was amazing. And I think that's when I really saw a different side to these platforms, because all of a sudden people that didn't have that outlet and that way of communicating with people all of a sudden had, TikTok, Facebook Live, Twitter and X and those sort of things, to be able to do that, which just opens up the world massively, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah, and I was talking about this last night, that social media, when it's used in the correct way, it can be a positive thing, but obviously there's a lot of there's a lot of bad things about it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if your first initials are T. I think.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah. So no, it was interesting hearing, like with cerebral palsy as a youngster and things like that. Obviously, I know you spoke about some of your experience in shops and things, but like, how was like school and the educational sort of system to you and things at that time?
So I went from the age of 3. I went to a special school,
Right.
um, and then when I was 12, I went to a mainstream school. I was like, so my year were like the first sort of lot. They were like trying to get people out of special schools
Mm.
and into mainstream. Um, I found it quite. I found it quite hard to like uh, to like get friends and things like that at first.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16, I left school and I went to a college in Coventry, which at the time it was called the National. It was the National Integrated College because it was a residential college for people with disabilities,
Mm.
but then um, it was a college that people would just go to during the day for people who didn't have disabilities. So
Yeah.
I went there, and from being so as a child, I would often go home from school and either play snooker on my little pot black table or play on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And so I never really socialized with anybody outside of school. But then when I went to college, when I was a residential student, it was like I was let off the leash and I went a bit. And I enjoyed myself very much, and I didn't do any underage drinking or anything like that at all.
Yeah.
Honest, and yeah, I made the most of being in a different city away from my parents, and I basically just did what anybody else of that age would do.
Yeah.
And
Like the homework.
occasionally, that got in the way. um, but I yeah, and I learned a lot of life skills. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, no, it sounds like there's a lot of stories there that you haven't shared with me in the past as
Yeah,
well. So,
there is, and yeah, but one thing is, um, if anybody watching this who is going to college in September, you need make sure that you do your coursework and homework before anything else.
well, you can't beat that advice, can you? So, I think. I think what has come through to me a lot, and I know you've got a bit of a musical hero as well, which I think we've always got to mention when I speak for yourself as much as
Yeah,
possible. So, um, but I think something that always comes through is like your sense of humour, like massively. And there's a little bit of that rock star element about yourself, I think, where I
yeah,
can imagine yourself letting loose a little bit. So, but you're really into your music as well, aren't you?
yeah. Like I think um, s- sport, sport, sport and music are my two passions. Like I suppose I would say my hobby, my hobby is my hobby is my hobby is music,
Mm.
and sports just something that I do.
Yeah, no, that makes so like music. Who's that hero that I kind of know that you've got?
So my hero is Ian Jury, but like he's my hero in as I was sort of mentioning earlier, like growing up, I did face a lot of ableism,
Mm.
and especially as a as a teenager when I was at school, like that, I found it hard to make friends, and during during those times, um, I wouldn't say that I didn't want to be disabled because I knew that I am, but I did sort of think that being disabled, like I thought I won't never get a girlfriend, and like I thought that I thought that I wouldn't ever I'd be able to have some of the things that people who didn't have a disability have, and
Yeah,
for a long time I um I did have I kind of found it hard to I found it hard to like get my head around stuff, and I feel like being 13, 14, I was thinking, well, what's it going to be like when I'm older, and like things like that. And then while I was at college, um, there was a carer who worked at the college, and he was looking through my CDs, and he said, "What sort of stuff do you like?" And I said, "Oh, like I like songs that are about that are about society, and that like talk about like things that happen." And he said, "Oh, I'll fetch you some of my CDs." And he brought me an Ian Dury um, CD, and so I didn't play the CD, but while I was supposed to be doing some work in the library, I went on to Google and I looked up Ian Dury, and I realised that he had polio, and like his disability didn't stop him from being a rock star, and he would get on stage with his stick, and he'd actually get carried up on he'd get carried up on stage
yeah,
often, and like I said, I just thought that he looked really cool. And when I watched some interviews with him, like his attitude towards his disability was what I thought. That's where that he kind of spoke to me
Yeah.
as a 16-year-old, even though he's like 40 odd years older than me, and he'd passed away by the time I heard about him. But I thought, do you know what? Like that's that's um that's how I should be. And like if he can be a rock star and he's got polio, then like why can't I? And yeah, so yeah, basically, that's. But he's had a massive impact on me, even though he passed away. Like, in fact, I think actually today is the 26th anniversary since he passed away. Actually,
Is it really? Oh,
yeah.
that's wow. There couldn't be a better time to have you on, really, is
No,
there?
no.
We're talking about him as well. So, I know it might be difficult, but obviously there's lots of different groups and lots of different areas within life and communities and stuff where people talk about like having role models and things like that. Is there any way of putting into words of what a difference you feel that made to you and kind of any changes it made to you?
But what in regards to Ian, Ian during what impact he had?
Yeah, in like yeah, in kind of what way you feel that that impacted or that influence had upon yourself. Like, is there a way of
Yeah,
putting that into words of sort of what difference you feel it made to you?
I think I became a lot more confident about having a disability,
Mm,
and like exactly the same when I was on about um, having a stutter. Really, that like I'd gone through my whole life wanting to fit in,
mm,
and but it's like I trying to put. It's like trying to eat soup with a fork, but it's just not gonna work.
mm, yeah.
So like, and then when I discovered Ian, like he he just taught me that like having a disability and being different and standing out from the crowd,
Mm,
like that's better than 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 being than 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 being uh, being bland and being boring and being the same as everybody else.
mm,
Because the people who want to be like everybody else, they're the ones who are boring. Whereas if you have your own style and your own uh, sense of sense of self, and you're not afraid to stand out, like the right people are gonna come to you, and you're gonna find a lot of like-minded people rather than, and also people are gonna value you for who you are, rather than if you pretend, if you want to fit in, and some people might want to suppress who they really are.
Mm.
Like, not only can it make you unhappy, but also, like, people, people might not be a friend for you as a person, but because of, it's a lot more like, it's a lot more like, uh, on the surface rather than who you actually are.
Yeah. No, it's I think you've explained that really well as well. I think like there's a lot of areas on this really where I'm learning all the time, and I've certainly learned a lot from yourself, and obviously knowing you, and obviously I regard you as a great friend who's inspiring all the time, and I know we'll go on to that a little bit in a moment, the sports and things that you're involved with as well, and I know that you inspire other people to kind of get involved in that, and even if they don't get involved, just your outlook as well, because people have said that to me over the years. Um, but I think there's been lots of changes over the time. But I think, like, I always feel guilty because I always talk to you rather than the people that you may be with, because I get it round the other way really, whereas I kind of forget that they're there. So
Mm,
because I think your character and your personality just stand out so much,
yeah,
and is the biggest thing. And but I think as well, isn't it? Like, if it's all right to talk about the chairs that you use and things like that and stuff. Like years ago,
yeah,
you just have people would have those basic chairs, which I didn't think would help either, because they were so low down as well, wouldn't they? Really.
yeah, yeah,
Which I think it made, but I know that wasn't the reason why people didn't often speak to people, that use a chair, and I still see it today as well, where people will walk past and they'll talk to the people behind them rather than the person there. So,
yeah.
um, but I know you. I think your character as well, and I think your outlook that you gained, probably a lot from Ian.
I did,
Um,
I
yeah,
did.
it really helps with that.
Like, um, and like when I speak to parents of like children with disabilities, and in particular cerebral palsy, like, um, I do, I always sort of like try and pass on the similar things that I took from Ian, because, like I say, um, a lot of my personality and stuff, it like, I think something that, like I've got a good sense of humour, but like having a good sense of humour, like I say, like going to mainstream, going to mainstream, going to mainstream school, and there's there's the potential for people to kind of like pick on you and things like that. Like, soon it's kind of like a skill in that if you can like get in first
Mm.
and like put them on the back foot, then it it kind of like takes people that power of like picking on you away.
Yeah, no, I understand. I've got a little bit of experience from that myself, sort of, which, yeah, I'll tell you away from here, because, like, Yeah, kind of some of my responses were a little bit sharp sometimes, but
Yeah,
so, but no, it is, isn't it? Everyone knows, kind of humor can be used as a great defense by many people. It can also be used to kind of there's also a lot of comedians out there that are well known for using comedy as a way of masking sort of things or covering things up as well, isn't it? But I think if you've used it as a tool like that, it then becomes, more kind of natural and a habit as well,
yeah,
really.
that's right. And
Yeah.
I certainly think that's how it happens for me. I think.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. So sport. I know we talk about it a fair bit on here. Do you want to explain sort of what sport you're involved with, or what other sports as well? Because it's not just. It might be quite a few cue sports, but it's I know there's a couple there as well, isn't there, that you've been involved with.
Yeah. So from from being 18 months old, I played snooker, which I know is when when I tell people, they say, no, you can't have been playing since then. But I have, and there's photographic evidence of it. And I had a little table in the front room that stood on top of about 4 tins of beans. And then, and for years, I I used to watch snooker on the telly. I had loads of a snooker. I had loads of snooker and that videos. And if there was a tournament on, I would imagine that I was playing in that tournament against whoever was on the telly.
Right.
And when there weren't any snooker on, I'd often imagine I was playing at the Crucible. And for ages, I thought that that was as far as my involvement with snooker would be.
Yeah.
And then I was watching a tournament on the BBC in about 2001, possibly 2002. And it was during one of the mid-session intervals, and Hazel Irving, she said something like, uh, she said something like, uh, uh, whilst we've been covering the this tournament this week, there was some snooker on in there was some snooker on in Preston last week, and it was the wheelchairs, the wheelchairs, the wheelchairs snooker, the wheelchairs snooker UK championships, and so I kind of thought when I heard that, oh that I didn't know about this, and thankfully when they showed this like 2 minute VT, they they showed a little 10-second clip of a player who was playing snooker. Yeah, he was playing snooker with one hand, and he had like a hook. He had like a hook that was that was on a base. But he, he placed it on the table and he used it as a rest. And I saw that and I thought, I can do that.
Mm,
And one of the good things about my mainstream school, for all the bad experiences I'd had about like so not having much friends, they were really positive about disability sport and wanting to encourage disability sport. So after I saw that, I went to school it were either the next day or after the weekend. And I said, I went to um, I went to uh, a man called Stephen Howells. He was another man who had a big impact on my life. And he was my learning support assistant at school. And I said, can you find out a bit more about this wheelchair snooker for me? Anyway, he did. And there was a tournament about 6 weeks after that was fairly local. So I played in that. I was 13 years old then, and everybody else in the tournament, I would say, was were older than like 55. So I was the youngest by quite a way, and I don't know how they uh, received that all of a sudden they were about 13. They were a 13-year-old turning up, but I went played in that one, and I played that for a couple of years. But at that point, it wasn't really being ran properly, and there were only two tournaments a year. So I did that, and then all of a sudden, I went to one tournament, and there were only 4 players. So I said, where's everybody else gone? And someone said, oh, they've started playing this um, American nine ball pool. And I said, oh, why? And he said, well, there's tournaments all over Europe, and you can win a bit. You can win a bit of prize money. And so that kind of piqued my interest. And so I started playing that then, because there wasn't an active uh, wheelchair snooker circuit.
Yeah.
I had a lot of success in that. That's when I started sort of working with you, and so and I had a bit of success with that, and then in 2023, after being persuaded by um, by Jimmy White to get back into snooker, I decided to join the World Disability Snooker Tour, and exactly three years on from when I entered my first tournament, I'm now the world number 5 in the wheelchair snooker world rankings.
Yeah, no, you're slowly getting up there, so it's good. And I think it was a great decision for you to start playing again as well. I think so. I know the Smiths asked earlier how do people follow like the World Disability Tour? How would you find out more about it, and how would they follow?
So the website is the website is wdbs.info, and there's information on there about how to enter a tournament and all the different categories. So there's eight different categories, and each have their own sort of separate tournaments. So in theory, you're competing against people with a similar disability to you. For example, I play in the wheelchair tournaments, although I am the only player who plays entirely with one hand. But but everybody else that I'm competing with is also in a wheelchair, and there's a category for amputees, people with learning disabilities, people who are hearing impaired, people who are visually impaired, people who can stand but have I don't know, people who can stand but who might be affected in other ways.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's
it's,
some amazing people on there, isn't there? It's and when you look at like the players worldwide as well, who are kind of playing in similar tournaments, people, and there's one person, wasn't it, that I saw who uses his feet to play.
yeah.
There's some amazing people on there that well, when you kind of see the main tour, when people are kind of moaning and complaining about either table conditions or missing a ball and things like that, and you see someone with no arms potting a ball, you think like it's just amazing.
But you see, people on disability tour still complain about those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, no, that's absolutely fine as well, isn't it? You're bound to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like, I think that's one thing about snooker snooker players across the board, regardless of if you're on the professional tour, women's tour, seniors tour, disability tour, snooker players all love to have a good moan.
we'll have to put that out as the best kind of statement, I think, or a key statement from the conversation to use as a tag somewhere. So, 'cause,
That's
yeah,
it.
very true as well. It's like yeah. So, and I know it's taken you to so many different countries as well, hasn't it? Where have you been so far?
So I've been to in the last like like 2 years. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Belgium, and I've been to Albania.
Yeah, favorite place so far?
Um, I'd, it's a toss up between Thailand and Portugal, I think,
Yeah.
because Thailand I sort of struggled because without it's hard to explain to somebody if they've not been, but it's a different type of heat over there, and it's like very intense, and it sort of like sucks all your energy out of you.
Yeah, and the heat's not in the rice either, is it? So you found?
Well, the heat wasn't in the food. No, I'm surprised I didn't end up with food poisoning all week. To be honest,
So I know when you was away and you was messaging me saying that a lot of the food obviously that you was eating was you was finding was cold, which I've been told since that that's quite unusual. So I don't know what was causing that really. So yeah,
I don't, but I think
right.
if I go there again in future, I think I'm gonna pack a load of. I think I'm gonna pack a load of. Pack a load of pot noodles. I think so.
Um,
So if Pot Noodle want to sponsor me, then they can do.
No, it sounds like a good idea. I can imagine that as well. That'd be a good one. Yeah. So
It, I tell you what they could do. So there's a ready-made advert here about if Pot Noodle to sponsor me, I would say, Pot, while you're having a pot noodle,
there's I can see that happening. We're gonna have to write to them, I think, and I think that's a great idea.
or pot noodles, or pot, or go for a pot while you're having a pot noodle. There's all
Yeah,
sorts of variations we could have.
having a noodle while you're having a pot.
Yeah,
We'll work on it.
yeah, or even sit on the pot. Hello, pot noodle.
So they're getting better. We'll slowly work on that, and we will
Yeah,
put a proposition to them. I think.
yeah,
But yeah. So going on from sport and things, are you? I know I think there's a certain other club that you've been really passionate about. You advocate a lot, don't you, for other people and
yeah.
things. But,
So, obviously, um, I about about 14, about 14 or 15, about 14 or 15, ye- about 14 or 15 years ago, I had some mental health issues and I completed behavioral therapy, which I found really helpful for me personally. And again, that was around the time when I sort of got to know yourself. And but then following the death of somebody I went to college with, I it was my mum who recommended that I visited the local Andy's men's club,
mm,
and at the time I thought that was for people who struggle to open up, but I've never struggled opening up, so I didn't think it was for me. But
mm,
then when I first went, I sort of realised that there were a lot more. There were a lot more to it than that, and
yeah,
and I then became a facilitator for Andy's man club. But having said that, I've not actually been since last summer because,
mm,
well, last summer I was busy practicing for a snooker tournament, but then when I came back from Albania, I had a I had a chest infection for the best part of 4 months.
mm,
So I didn't want to be coughing and spluttering while people were talking about sensitive things.
yeah,
So I haven't been for a while, but yeah, I definitely recommend any uh, any man
yeah,
who is um, but the thing is about Andy's men's club is you don't even the thing that I always say is it's not a game. It's not a game of It's not a game of about top trumps. Like, like you don't even need a, to have an issue. I just come in, have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and
yeah,
just um, just have a sit down and listen to men um, speak about things and get things off the chest. It's a safe space, and there's a lot of men. Um, when you see other men getting emotional or talking about sensitive things, then it helps other men
Yeah.
open up. And like I said, I've found it ever so helpful. And like you say, I can't
Okay.
speak highly enough of Andy's Men Club, and they they continue to save men's lives. And honestly, like it's fantastic.
Yeah, it was actually you that kind of introduced me to them in a way because I'd never actually heard of them, and well, I think I'd seen one advertised, but I didn't realise it was a national thing. I thought that was like local to an area. So when you kind of spoke about them and I learned more about them from you, and I think Squishy, who obviously comes into chat a lot as well. Uh, Only the other day mentioned Men's Shed, which I'd never heard of either, which is like a group where they kind of, I think they sort of do craft work and arts and things like that and stuff. So, with another way of kind of helping people and supporting people. So, it sounds like a brilliant group, and obviously something that you've really got a lot out of.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of there's a lot of quite high profile people who have like, got more involved with them as well, and I think that helps. That helps again to open it up to people.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant and obviously much needed as well, especially during these times, isn't it? Like any times of like upheaval and obviously the news sometimes can be overwhelming and things like that, as well as like having to manage your own things at home or work and bits. It's great that people have got a safe place to go and talk.
Yeah, I mean, um, I've really struggled like the last few months with the cost of filling up, filling up, the cost of filling up my car.
Yeah,
Um, it's and like I say, things like that.
mm,
Um, like I say, there's people attend Andy's Men Club for all sorts of reasons, and and the thing is, you don't have to have a reason.
mm,
Like I say, it's just a place where you can have a biscuit, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, have an have an orange squash, and just it's a safe space for people.
yeah. And that's all you need sometimes, isn't it? Just that place to sit down, relax, and have company and feel able to kind of talk about anything that you want to, if anything at all. So, no, and I know you'd obviously recommend anybody to kind of go to those, wouldn't you? And or
Yeah,
kind of an equivalent for women as well, especially if people are struggling at all.
yeah. I think there is. Obviously, I don't know. I think there are similar things for women.
Yeah,
Um, but it's funny because one of the facilitators at Andy's Men's Club in Doncaster. He did a talk at the place where he works, and somebody he works with said, "How come there's not an Andy's Man Club but for women?" And he said, "Well, problem is Andy's Man Club only lasts for 2 hours."
I know this punchline's going to sting.
Yeah, if we had one for women, then we'd need a lot longer.
I could see that coming. Yeah, no, it's but there's lots of groups out there, and when I kind of tried to put this on to YouTube and things, I'll try and add some of those links underneath. But I know it was mentioned the other day that there is a women's version of Men's Shed as well, which sounded really good. So and obviously a quick Google search or even using Chat GPT these days as well will come up and bring up the local ones as well. So yeah, and including it'll probably offer you some inappropriate jokes as well if you search for those.
Man, you both saying that, I think if you think about it, or when that person said that about why there's not an Andy's Man Club for women, what he actually meant is that generally women women are better at talking and opening up than what men are.
I think so. That's kind of yeah. It's kind of like the theory, isn't it? I do know a lot of women that when you've had conversations with them about that, they'll sort of say, well, yeah, kind of. We'll but we still hide things as well. So um, yeah, there's. I think we're all individuals, aren't we? Anyway, and as individuals, some of us will be more open to talking than others, and some people will be happy talking about what seems to be a lot of things, but might not be the thing that actually affects them the most, or
No,
especially to do with families and things like that and stuff, and relationships and bits. So, but yeah, I think there's always that stigma, isn't there, about men? It's still there really, of where I think we've got to be seen to sort of carry on regardless and things, and it can be really difficult. I think.
yeah, and really, like it's all it's all a load of rubbish, and like I hear people say, "Oh, well, that never happened in my day," but then you think, well, no, it didn't. But then in your day, people had issues that 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 having to be quiet about things
Yeah.
caused other problems.
Yeah, no, I think everything's changed these days, isn't it? A lot of things for the good, and a lot of things not so for the good in there. But even when you look at teachers, in schools, like most of my teachers in school, especially if they were male, were like ex-military that only had one way of doing things or looking at things, really, as in, well, what's the matter with you? Get on with it, which that can have its positives in some way because it's a way of getting things done, but it's not a way of dealing and managing problems or issues, is it? That then come back up. So it's
No,
it's
yeah,
uh,
but no,
um, go on.
but yeah, like I said, I think I'm slowly, um, we are ending that stigma, and his men's club is all about finding uh, that one man who like opens up about
Yeah,
things.
No, definitely. It's much needed as well, and it just needs to continue, doesn't it, as much as possible? And yeah, no, so, obviously that means a lot to you, and you've done some great work in there as well with facilitating things. Hi, Steph. Um, we've got, I'll have to rename this, Matt, as the honest hour. It's going to have to be the honest hour and a quarter, I think, with everybody, because it was only kind of supposed to be working as a basis in a way. So, but with a few minutes sort of left, Denise, like, I don't know, how would you like to use up the last couple of minutes? What sort of message would you kind of want to get across, or sort of what would you kind of like to share with people about like your experiences, or what changes you'd like to see going forward?
Changes. Um, I don't know, but I just like if there's anybody watching this that 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 maybe thinks that there's something wrong with them, or they're not good enough, or they don't fit in, or they don't belong. Like, like everybody's got their own unique selling point, and like regardless, like you like carry on being yourself, be true to yourself, and if you keep doing that, then you're not gonna go far wrong.
Yeah. No, I like that message. I'm still trying to find out what my unique selling point is at the minute. So it's but I think that's the thing as well, isn't it? Like, I used to worry as a youngster, up and well into my 20s. I kind of had ideas of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. But then, kind of different twists and turns in life and stuff like that.
Hang
God.
on, hang on, Alexa, turn the lights on.
And
Alexa, turn the lights on.
she's not listening to you.
Oh my god.
Like most of us
Alexa,
would be left in the dark.
Alexa, turn the lights on.
Okay.
She done that on purpose.
Oh dear, she
She
put
done that on
50p.
purpose to you, didn't she?
Yeah, yeah, she
You
did. She
got to
put.
love Alexa. Yeah, but no, what I was kind of saying really is, there can be this massive pressure, can't there, of like trying to decide who you're going to be, what you're going to do, especially when you're
Yeah,
a youngster and at school. And I think that still sort of exists today when talk to people. I think it's important that there is no rush, and people find out about those things, when the time's right and as they go along, isn't it? Really, some early on, some a lot later.
yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of documentaries on like the pitfalls of like social media for youngsters, and like there's always gonna be uh, um a lot of generations are always gonna have like things to overcome, and
Yeah,
it's just part of life, really.
yeah, no, definitely. Um, I was going to ask you because of your sense of humour and stuff, in a way, and then the lights went out, which kind of reminded me and prompted me. But I know you've had a few kind of experiences and memories that over the years of sport and different like a couple of funny moments that you've had that really stand out for you.
Couple of funny moments. I was once in a restaurant, and we were having a meal, and I thought the waitress was going to come. You know, they always ask you, don't they? You know, everything all right with your food when you have a mouthful of food.
Yeah.
So I was upstairs in this restaurant, and the waitress come and thought she's going to ask, is everything all right with your food? She did say, is everything all right with your food? But then after that, she followed it up by saying, unfortunately, the lift is broke.
Right. Yeah.
Now I'd only just gone up in the lift 5 minutes before.
Right.
She said the lift is broke. So up to now, anything else that you have is free because we don't know how long it's going to be before the lift man comes to repair the lift.
Right. Yeah.
So I was upstairs in an Nando's, thinking I might be staying here for the night.
Yeah.
So we had free puddings, free desserts, free puddings and free desserts. Free puddings and free desserts? No, that's not right. No, free puddings and free drinks.
Yeah.
How can you have puddings and desserts? Um,
Depends how long
and
you was there for.
yeah, so yeah, got all these freebies, and the fella come to who mended the lift, and I said, I said, are you all right? He said no, and I asked him why, and I think when his company rang him, I think he was engaging in extramarital activities.
Well, okay. So he'd lost his desserts for you to get your free ones.
Yeah, yeah. So I felt a bit sorry for him. I said, I hope your wife stays awake.
Have you got another one?
Trying to think of one that I can share without getting people into trouble.
Namely me.
Um, um, I don't think I can actually. No, I can't. I can't think of another one.
Okay.
But yeah, I do. Yeah, I hope that Liftman. Oh, talking. That was something else to do with lifts.
Yeah.
I once was stuck upstairs in the crucible. It was after the World Seniors Championship final. Everybody had gone, and there was just me in the crucible. And thankfully, I saw the cleaner. She said, "Are you all right?" I said, "No." I said, "I pressed the lift, but it's not working."
Mm.
And so she said she would go and find a member of staff. So she went downstairs. Now I was starting to panic, thinking, I hope she comes back. Otherwise, I'm just going to be stuck in the Crucible Theatre and it's empty. Anyway, that was another time a liftman had to come out, but I don't think he had the same problem as the Nando's one.
Yeah, she didn't feel as guilty about that one.
No.
We've got a few lift stories. I've got a couple of my own, but someone who you mentioned earlier, Hazel Irvine, the very first time I ever met her was I got stuck for a brief amount of time in a lift with Hazel in a hotel. And I was stood there thinking, I hope we're not like stuck in here for too long because I'm going to run out of things to say. And but thankfully, yeah, after a bit of a brief hello and a chat and things, it started moving again, and we were all right. But yeah, that was the first time I'd really ever met her and spoke to her properly. So yeah, which was a bit of an adventure in itself. But there's something about lifts, isn't there? I think they're. I think
Yeah,
everyone's got a lift story there somewhere or other. So
it's a really good job that I'm not scared of this. Because
no,
otherwise,
a lot of people are, aren't they?
I'd be stuck if I were.
There's a very funny. I know you're an Only Fools and Horses fan as well, aren't you? There's a very kind of funny but very emotional lift scene with Del and Rodney, from what I remember.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite a poignant scene. That.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good one. If anyone hasn't watched it, go and find the episode that it's in and watch it. It's a good scene. It's a really memorable one.
Yeah,
Matt, thank you so much for coming on. And I know we speak to you a fair bit on here, but I kind of really wanted to do like a proper hour with you, and kind of catch up with you again because you from knowing you and everything else, very quickly you become, as far as I'm concerned, a very close friend very, very quickly, and someone who I've kind of gained inspiration from and things. Quite often I'll kind of think about how you might manage something or how you might manage, do something, to kind of use that myself. And I know you, from whatever you do, you always kind of do it with a little bit of a rock and roll kind of style with a bit of humour as well. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah. That's the only way to do things. I think.
yeah, no, definitely. I just wish I could stick my hair up as well as yours is sometimes. So, uh,
I need it. I need it cutting, Matt.
well, no, you don't. Matt, is there anything that you kind of want to add or finish on, or anything you want to say? I know you kind of said about obviously gaining help and stuff.
Just if anybody else has any questions or wants to talk, I'm always open to like asking any, answering any questions or anything. So it like if anybody has anything to ask, then either feel free to send me a message or whatever.
Yeah, and I know there's many ways of doing that, isn't there? So how do people find you if they want to?
Well, I'm on here. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Um, I'm on what else? What else am I on? I'm on Twitter. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I think
and I
that's
think
it.
you're on all of those as Matthew Lester, aren't you? So dead easy to find as well. Hi, Jen.
I am. I am. Yeah, I'm not on. I'm not on. I'm not on. I'm not on OnlyFans yet, but that might happen. That might happen in the future.
You will get me in trouble now. You watch, yeah, no, right. It's nothing changes. Yeah, Squishy says never say never. So
No, definitely never say it. Especially with, especially with the, especially, especially with the cost of petrol. I need to pay for it somehow, Squishy.
brilliant. I know. And like many people as well, isn't it? With the snooker side and stuff, I know that you're always looking for sponsorship support and stuff like
Yeah,
that. If there is any businesses out there or
yeah,
people that would like to kind of support Matthew in the Q Sports and stuff, I know
yeah,
you'll be open for that. And I know you've always got space for a logo or two, haven't you?
yeah. I have, yeah, and however, like I'm open. I'm open. I'm open to any kind of support to do with that because it is expensive. So
Yeah.
if anybody feels like if anybody feels like they want to support me with me and snooker, then it's much appreciated.
No, brilliant. No, thanks a lot for that, Matt. And it's always a pleasure to kind of have you on here and speak to. Thanks so much for kind of coming on, and thanks again as well for talking about like all the areas that you have done, because I know with Smithies and things like that that popped in earlier, I know that there's always something that someone will connect to when kind of listening to yourself. And I know as well, I know you kind of helped a lot of people that I speak to that sort of say that they've only just started like in a disability snooker or whatever because of yourself. And you know, even people that have played on there for a long time as well. I know that you kind of inspire them as well. You're all inspirational on that tour, so really well done. And thanks so much for coming on again and giving us your time.
Thanks a lot, man. And obviously, like, and obviously, having your support, and having your support and friendship, um, it means a hell of a lot to me, and you're a very good friend.
No worries. It's an absolute pleasure. And how could anybody be any different? It's with yourself. It's I don't know. I don't know. I might as well just I'll kick you out the room now before we start.
Yeah,
But no, there's you know, thanks for that. But it's an absolute pleasure to know you. It's you make the world a brighter place, and I know you kind of helped me out a number of times as well. It's
yeah.
more than probably what you know. It's always good to talk to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt.
All right, no worries. Speak to you soon. Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, speak to you in a bit, and thanks for everybody who hasn't fallen asleep while I've been talking.
No, not at all. I think I've had some great comments there. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
See you later.